remind you, you got this. Because you can do something your opponent cannot do. You can open doors.
I see what you did there, like to a garbage truck, right?
I don't really laugh like that, do I?
A little bit. Let me tell you something. I'm going to vote for us.
Great. Any chance you are registered in Pennsylvania?
Nope, I am not.
Well, it was worth a shot.
What's up, guys?
Oh my God, give me a break.
Can you believe we have 2 days to go? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rescue Michigan weekly live stream. And this is it, guys. The final moments. And boy, we will. I mean, I don't want to spend the whole stream just like recapping nostalgia of the Trump campaign, but you have to admit, it's been a fucking amazing ride. Like nothing that has ever happened before. This week alone, the first thing was the garbage stunt when Biden got caught in the hot mic saying Trump supporters are garbage, like the deplorable. Trump shows up at the rally in a garbage man vest, which now his supporters also have as Trump rally events, wearing garbage man vests. And I've also seen them showing up in garbage bags too.
Yeah, the bags are fun. Megyn Kelly had a very stylish, hey Todd, very stylish garbage bag outfit.
Yeah, there was the garbage incident, and then, as if that wasn't enough, then later this week was the murder of poor Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon by the Democrats, by these lowlife scum that called the cops to have these poor innocent animals murdered. You guys heard about this, right?
You know what? If they have enough government resources to spend that much time on that, then there's too much government.
Yeah, for those who haven't heard, I'll put up on the screen the story about this. But there's these guys who are Trump supporters, permanent Trump supporters, who are these 2 innocent animals, Peanut the squirrel, and also what was the name of the raccoon? Fred the raccoon, and a bunch of these low-life Democrats called the cops on them and accused them of being rabid. And so the cops, of course, took the preemptive step of killing them first before they determined that they were actually completely innocent. Officials are coordinating to ensure the protection of public health related to the illegal possession of wild animals that potentially carry the rabies virus, according to a statement from the animal killers, or these scum. So, like, you remember a few months ago, the big story was that Trump was like, they're eating the dogs and the cats. Yeah, now they're also murdering the squirrels and the raccoon. Unfreaking believable. So freaking gross. And just another example of this iconic campaign where it's been like just one crazy thing after another. And of course, that's just this week. It's been here. I'll show you. I made a little meme for this right now. For Peanut and Fred. Because a lot of people, this poor innocent animal was murdered by the Democrats because they hated Republicans. That's a real thing, folks. You guys know it. You guys know there's no low they won't stoop to. They had these innocent animals murdered just to torment a Republican. It's unreal. But anyway, I guess I've kind of gone astray from the point here. The point being that Melissa, squirrels don't even carry rabies. Yeah. But, that didn't matter to the New York police authorities. Anyway, I mean, they're not exactly experts on animals anyway. But anyway, so I've got my Trump hat. Although, actually, if you guys have been to Trump rallies recently, you know that one Trump hat is not enough. That's not what Trumpsters will go to a rally. They'll have a hat, but then they'll buy a hat. So you gotta have a second hat. Because I mean, literally half the people in the Trump rallies they'll have at least 2 hats on, because you got to take the opportunity to buy them now before they're gone. Because after the election, who knows how many more we'll see.
There was an amazing blue one.
Yeah, so
I wish I would have gotten.
Yeah, This is a really nice one I got at a Trump rally recently. It's quite warm on the inside. It's got some nice lining. It's my new winter hat. Although I still have my Ushanka, which is probably not that warm. Trump hat's not that warm, but still, for your average Michigan winter weather, this is a very nice hat. So there you go. Randy says like double masks. No, it's just extra, man. You know, there's nothing wrong with having additional.
I do have quite a few of
protection.
the original MAGA hat. I have the red one, the original. And
You
have,
know,
like,
I don't know if you caught this in the intro with the picture of Elon there. That hat he was wearing is not the hat you see everywhere. Not the hat that's sold on the Trump website, not the official.
No, it's not even the same font. It looks like a.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's in calligraphy. It's totally different.
Yeah.
I want that hat. I want that Elon hat. Yeah, see, Lauren, I don't want a dark MAGA hat. I want the dark MAGA hat. That's got to be in a calligraphy font. And I haven't even seen those at the Trump rallies. So get on it, guys. Let's go to a Trump rally. They got lots of vendors there, but they got these, little ordinary ones, not the official Elon Musk dark MAGA hat. So anyway. And he says, no, half of my hair is too pretty. If you guys watch this channel, you probably don't think I like to wear hats. I love wearing hats, but I was taught as a boy, you never should wear a hat indoors. So I haven't. I actually do enjoy wearing hats, but only for this show will I make an exception. Anyway, Russ says I don't even wear hats, but I've accumulated 5 or 6 at this campaign. Yeah. This is the iconic campaign. Anyway, how you doing, Patty? How's your week been? It's been a pretty crazy week for me personally. How about you?
Yeah, no, it was good. Just kind of getting things wrapped up, sending out texts, according to one more, we had another Super Saturday yesterday. And
Yes.
So we had another 700 voter guides that went out, as well as, the candidates that were being featured. And yeah, it's good. Like I went today for I don't know for anyone who knows this place called Dairy Dan. It's on Wayne Road and I think it's Westland. Anyway, so we went for pumpkin custard. It's like frozen custard. And I don't know how we asked the girl like where she lives. Well, I live in Brownstown. I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you. And so then we texted her the voter guide. And I mean, I don't know.
Cool.
I just think it's like Steve Bannon says, be a force multiplier. So,
yeah, I think we're right now at the point where, every big thing we can do has already been put into place. Now it's like the little thing. Now it's like, let's make sure we chase every last little vote. This is like the time, guys, where if you're watching, what's that one other person you can get, who might not vote or might not vote Republican, but if you talk to them, maybe they will.
Right. Well, they had that 10 for 10 or whatever. What's that? 10X? Yeah,
the 10X votes. Yeah, that's become a thing. Like the Trump campaign's now pushing it officially. Mm-hmm. Good for them for doing it. John C. King, I want to get to your comment in a moment. He's got a comment about the election fraud in Washtenaw County, the Chinese individual, the non-citizen voter. We'll get to that in a moment. But before we do that, yeah, I don't want to entirely walk away from this topic before I forget. Trump getting more and more and more endorsements from Muslim leaders and also from Jewish leaders too. Like the whole situation in the Middle East is just getting people to flee from Kamala. And I mean, that's so enormous. Like the fact that all of those votes that were previously considered to be property of the Democratic Party, they're all gone. And I would, and yep, Randy says, yeah, 10xvotes.com. It works. There you go. Also, Dwayne Zantop. I had my Trump and reflective events in my walk at Home Depot Saturday. It's funny.
I went to custard without you.
It's funny because I was at a Trump rally recently, and a lot of them were wearing the reflective vests. And you think instinctively they're the help. Because that's what the vests tell you. So you want to ask people, like, wait a minute, no, you're in line for the show.
Uh-huh.
But that's like a thing is if you ever like a major thing in spycraft is just by wearing the outfit of a professional, people assume you're, part of the police or part of the, all access group or whatever. And everyone's wearing these reflective vests, and people just assume they're event staff. So yeah, Warren says, I love the merch. Yeah, the merch you see at the Trump rallies is amazing, man. Yes, it certainly is. And man, there's the old Joe and the Ho gotta go. I saw one the other day that was what did it say? It was like roses are red, Kamala ain't black, Joe something, and Hunter's on crack, something like that.
Speaking of that, have you watched any of the Candace Owens expose on Kamala?
I have not. What
Heard of it?
What
She's
did
got
she got there?
16 episodes, and she's digging in, getting birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, divorce things, like news clippings, like all kinds of stuff. There's some weird stuff there. I'm maybe 5 or 6 podcasts in. So yeah.
Wow.
But basically saying she's like appropriating, using like the help and claiming that they're her family to make it look like she has black family members.
I have no doubt that that's 100% correct. I don't know that we have the ability to get that information out to voters at this point.
No, but I'm just saying, just because you happen to mention that she's not black.
But yeah, it's so unreal. I forget who I heard it from, but someone was making the point to me earlier this week on something I was listening to, how it's amazing how the two Democrat black candidates for president, first Barack Obama, doesn't have any slaves in his heritage, but has slave owners in his heritage. And then Kamala Harris, who doesn't have any slaves in her heritage, but has slave owners in her heritage.
Yeah, she's Irish.
Yeah.
Her background, she's Irish Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yeah. Novi, I signed up.
Canadian. Jennings, I'm going to Novi.
Yeah, I signed up for Novi. I don't know if I'm going to go, but
there's a Novi rally now too.
Not a rally. Calm down.
Oh, the election night party.
Yeah.
The election night. Well, hey, since he's on the stream, Mr. Warren Carpenter, let me tell you, Warren, we've been telling our people, don't plan an election night party because people are going to not see things through. I want to have people on election night texting me the output from the tapes they get from the tabulators at 9:30 p.m. And when you have an election night party, people leave early. And we have to assume, guys, we're going to lose by 10 votes unless you stay and see everything through. We want everybody doing everything to the last minute. Like my Washington kind of GOP, I told them, like, don't plan any election night parties. We'll have a party the weekend afterwards when we don't have people that need to be at the polling places.
Yeah, especially, they're sending out letters telling us when they want us to get vote counts, like 3 times during the day, stay till the end, get the totals tapes. Those totals tapes aren't always available right away at 8 o'clock either.
No, they take time. They take like an hour or even an hour and a half, I've seen.
And yeah, the election party starts at 7.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, so let me tell you a story. When I was in Gary Glenn's campaign 10 years ago for state rep, we had a big battle with I had a fight with Gary Glenn's wife, Annette, over the election night plans, because the issue that we had was how much money will we be spending on the victory party? And Annette's attitude was spend as little as humanly possible on the election night party because we need to win. And we want to put every dime we can into winning. My answer was, yeah, that's true. But also you have to thank your volunteers. You just have to. You have to set some money aside to thank your volunteers. And I remember Gary saying, and that's right. In fact, I remember other people telling me, like my political mentor saying, yeah, Gary and Annette were right. You spend as little as humanly possible on your victory party because you need to have people doing everything they possibly can. You need to leave it all on the field, every dime, every minute, every instant. But also, like in other campaigns I've worked on, like when we say we've got a victory party, it's at such and such location, even if you say it's going to start at 9 o'clock, people get there at 8, and you're just like, dang, where'd you come from? Oh, I came from the polling place. I wish you had stayed there because and by the way, folks, let me be clear about something. When when we have our live stream on Tuesday, like if you guys call in your totals and say what the numbers were at your polling place, we'll compare them to what happened 2 years ago or 4 years ago at your precincts. The issue is, though, that it's going to be all wacky and different because 4 years ago we didn't have early voting. So the numbers might be all screwy because everything we've seen is saying that the numbers 4 years ago, the early voting numbers, Republicans are beating Democrats everywhere. Beating them everywhere. Warren says, I agree. We will be there late. Don't worry. It's the campaigns, guys. Rogers, Trump, and the whole EI war room. Yeah, Warren, and what did you say? Why don't you do there? I mean,
the live stream, do it at Novi, I think he means.
Do my live stream at Novi? You're tempting me. You're tempting me. Well, maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow, or
you could set up some couches, and people could be walking and going, and it could be funny.
Yeah, the issue I have, again, like I said, the number one thing is I don't want to give anybody any incentive to quit early on election day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
See it through, guys. Obviously, if you're a poll worker, you have to because you're doing your job. But if you're a poll challenger, if you're a phone banker, we want you calling people until 8 p.m. Giving people a ride to the polls until 8 p.m. Every single tiny scintilla might make all the difference. So, absolutely 110%. And Warren, I'll contact you after the stream. We'll talk about doing this. Maybe we can. I got these new microphones. I got some portable microphones, so we'll see. It might be really doable. But anyway, other than that, though, we had, so it's another story in my county this past week. Oh, hold on, let me answer this. Since Tim Kuhn just posted this, results won't be available until Saturday. Tim, final official results won't be available until Saturday, yes, but that does not mean the race can't be called on the night of. Remember last year, 2022? Not last year, 2022. They called pretty much every race for state house and senate and governor on the night of.
They've been early. All the AV ballots are counted almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Even Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it could be like 4 years ago where the margin of fraud isn't beaten and, all that, and the numbers change dramatically. But to that, guys, and I have to emphasize to everybody, by every metric, we're looking better than we were 4 years ago. And they have a lesser ability to tamper with things than they did 4 years ago. Remember, 4 years ago, they had COVID that let them throw all kinds of rules out the window. Everything that we have going for us this year is better than it was 4 years ago. And that is everything from better people, better training, better mobilization, better organization, better money, better message. We don't have the disadvantage of incumbency, which ordinarily in politics, incumbency is an advantage, but not in this particular race.
Benson did say that, but she's got no ground to stand on.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's got no ground to stand on. All the absentee ballots are counted.
Yeah. They're hoping. They're hoping. I mean, here's the thing, guys. How many votes did they cheat in 2020? Absolutely as many as they possibly could have. So how many more can they do this time? The answer is really not that many.
Well, they can. We know the number. We know how many have been mailed out everywhere, right?
Yeah. So the margin of cheating being the same and everything else being better for us, we win. So
we'll see.
I gotta say,
I don't want to get my hopes up, but
I hope that I'm not jinxing it. But I also, and I seriously, as a professional, I think I can impartially say with honesty and not just from wishful thinking that we're going to win this one. Because if you look at how narrowly Trump lost in 2020, every single metric, we're doing better this time. Every single one. In terms of organization, mobilization, polling results are vastly better than they were 4 years ago. That's a huge tell.
AV ballots are
Maybe-
way down.
Mailing ballots, the demographics, the damage that Kamala has with the Arab community and the Jewish community. It's ironic that those are both hurting her. That's the way it goes. By every metric, we're doing better. So how would we not do better than in the results this time? We will see. But and again, I'm not trying to jinx it, but there's a lot of doom. There's a lot of doomers out there. I think we're in good shape. I really think we are. We've got rallies tomorrow. I'm looking forward to them. I'm going to be at the
Grand Rapids. No.
There's a JD Vance rally in Flint, and then the final Trump rally is in Grand Rapids tomorrow night. That's going to be cool. You guys going to that rally? You should go get tickets right now. Go to the website. It said, I feel like when I bought the ticket, they said it wasn't going to be as late as it actually is. It's like associated at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. It's at 10:30 p.m. now.
That's what it was. Last time it was after midnight, the last two times. Well, for sure in 2016. Because at 2016, it was almost, he's like, it was like a last minute, I felt like, or he's like, no, let's do it. Yeah. And Hillary didn't come, obviously. She didn't think she needed to. Against her husband's advice.
Yeah, Trump is closing in Michigan. It's going to be awesome. So there's a JD Vance rally in Flint and then a Trump rally in Grand Rapids too. You guys should go. Be a part of history. It's going to be amazing. Get there extremely early. I guarantee you. Mike says it was.
Shouldn't get there extremely early. They should be calling and getting out the vote for Tuesday. Or bring a phone list with you and make calls in line while you're sitting at the rally. Be useful.
This is true. This is true.
I mean,
although there's value in the rallies too, because the rallies get people hyped up also.
Hyped up doesn't vote, but
well,
there ain't nobody new going to these rallies.
Huh?
You think there's like new voters going to these rallies?
No, but I think people leave the rallies and they decide I will do everything I can on election day. I will make phone calls. They're motivational.
Their time sucks.
Yeah, you're probably mostly right.
Their time sucks.
Well, I don't think Trump would be doing it if he didn't think it was in his benefit to do it.
I mean, it gets him TV time. That helps him that way. But as far as
he could get TV time in Virginia.
I'm sorry, what?
If the only point of the rally is just to get TV time, he could do the rally in Virginia, not in Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
a lot of time is spent at rallies.
I would just say this. You and me are hard-bitten political, long-time activists. A lot of people coming to these rallies are total noobs.
Yeah.
And
that's when I went. My first one, I went in 2020, whenever. Yeah.
And if they really drill down on emphasizing 10xvotes.com, call your friends, call your family, make sure they vote, go to your victory parties, do the work, yada, yada, yada. I think there's people that would resonate with, that might be like, yeah, this is the thing. Because, we've all come to where we are through some process of being engaged and through someone shaking us and saying, hey, this is the real world, guys. We got to actually play a role in it. And I think for a lot of people, that rally is the experience. Now, obviously, day before the election is kind of late in the game, but even still, I think there's going to be people there who are maybe not necessarily Trump noobs, but people that are, not accustomed to like phone banking, for example. And they're like, hey, guys, we need you to phone bank. Go to your victory center and help phone bank so we can get these last votes out. I don't know. Mike Humes, what do you mean Patty Con immediately and jumped right in? What is this about?
Because I've only been around like a few years that I got involved. He's saying I
get you now. Thank you.
He's saying I'm a quick study. Thank you, Mike. You're a good team member. I love working with you.
Kelly says the Monroe rally. I was shocked at how many new Trump people in their first rally. Yeah. There are a lot of noobs out there. I don't know how to pronounce that, but long lines in Shelby Township today. I've never seen that before.
Long lines voting or?
Must mean voting. Must mean voting. Because we've absolutely seen lots of long lines at Trump rallies. They're the longest lines there ever was. Warren says, I haven't been to a single rally inside the state this year, but I sent a ton of people to go and taking people to them. That's what they were there for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not a rally person, honestly.
Yeah, they're fun, but we stand there all day long. I don't know.
Yeah, but a lot of people that go were not going to be phone banking otherwise if they haven't. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. If you are going to phone bank, don't not phone bank to go to the rally. But there's going to be a lot of people at that rally that you might be able to get the phone bank on election day. Bryce Cooley says Harris has a serious Muslim problem. About 400,000 Arabs in Michigan, and many are planning on staying home on election day. Yeah, that's a big thing. I'm not entirely confident in that 400,000 figure there, though. But nonetheless, absolutely.
Well, we do know there was 100,000 uncommitted votes, right, in the presidential primary. That's huge.
That is huge. Yes,
And
absolutely.
what did I see? Citizen Kane. It's like a aggregator, like Drudge, I guess. Anyway, he was interviewed, and he was saying Jill Stein, out of a poll, Jill Stein had 42% of the Muslim vote. Kamala has 41, and Trump has 10.
We'll see. I'll be very curious. We'll definitely be watching the Dearborn vote to see how that shakes out. Because a lot of times people see, here's the thing people have to understand. There's one thing about polling that we can't really control for, which is, and it's true in advertising in general, which is this. When people say, I feel a certain way about something, it does not reflect reality and how they act. Like if someone says, I don't care about, seeing sexy people in ads, but then they actually respond to when people test it when they test it empirically. What people say they respond to and what they actually respond to are two different things. So we shall see. I'll be very curious to see how the Arab vote turns out in the election tomorrow. Lauren Turner says, I have a friend who insisted all year there was no point in voting in a rigged election, but then went to a Trump rally and voted the next day. Cool. Yeah. There are a lot of people like this, guys. I'm telling you, there are. There really are. Bryce also says the Harris campaign is worried about a possible crack in the so-called blue wall states. Our poll numbers are slipping in North Carolina. Yeah, they are a mess, guys. They are a mess. If they lose any of these blue wall states, they're in real trouble.
She has to win all three, I think.
Yeah.
If Trump holds the Sun Belt.
Yeah. Which the Harris campaign, well, she may have given up on Michigan because apparently she was supposed to be speaking Detroit, but then she went to do SNL instead to do that stupid, cringy skit that we just saw
today. She was in Detroit today, in East Lansing this evening.
Breitbart reported that she skipped a campaign event yesterday to do that cringy segment on SNL. Maybe they're wrong. But that's what they said.
Planned, but she was speaking during the Lions game, and then was in East Lansing.
Yeah.
Getting non-citizens to vote and college campuses.
Yeah. Tim Kuzo Salib never endorsed Kamala. Good for her.
Yeah, she didn't. AOC did, and whoever else was there did, but she didn't.
Well, AOC has no principles at all. Don says, I got a call from somebody the first day of early voting from Shelby Township at 8:30 in the morning, and she had said there was not one parking spot in the municipal parking lot, and they had to park down the street. Dang. Good. Yeah, we've done awesome on the early voting. Personally, I still voted absentee. I vote absentee in person. You can actually take your absentee ballot to your clerk's office and just deliver it to them and just leave the postal service out of it. But a lot of people are voting early, and it's weird because in the primary they didn't, but good for them. So
probably, I wonder if it's the same proportion. It's just there's not as many people that vote primary elections.
Well, the thing is, there's a big Democrat constituency that has real trouble turning out on election day. And that's why they always are pushing absentee voting, early voting, et cetera, et cetera. So the fact that we're clobbering them in the early vote means that they're in big trouble because they will have some voters who are going to vote on election day and vote absentee, but there will be voters that are just not turning out. And by not being able to capture them early, they're going to lose them. Yeah, Tim says turnout's low for Democrats. That is always a bad sign. Democrats whooped us 4 years ago in the early voting, the absentee voting. Bryce says, I think Trump will win Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, and Georgia. Harris will win Nevada and Wisconsin. That's my prediction. Well, we shall see, Bryce. I'm not sure what my prediction is. Actually, Bryce, I kind of agree with you about Trump winning Michigan, but not Wisconsin.
Really?
But, yeah.
And I'm no expert, but they had I was reading something that Wisconsin always polls to the left, but votes to the right of Michigan. So that would be interesting to look back and see if Wisconsin has ever gone blue when we've gone red.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling about that. We'll see what the results are. I can't wait. Let's see. I'll be curious. I have to earmark that one for something to check back on and see what the results are. Mike says, Dems like nice warm weather. That's exactly what we're going to what we're going to have for in-person voting. I thought someone said let's see what the weather report is. I thought someone said that
It was supposed to be rain. Now it's like 71 and it's going to be nice.
Let's see. Cloudy, I see, but no precipitation. It's like a ordinary weather day, I guess. Well, we'll see. We shall see. I feel like I think the early voting results are telling the big story. I don't know how much the weather really impacts voting. These days. CarPM9 says, it's funny because last time I said I couldn't pronounce it. CarPM9 says, I was polled by an AFL-CIO worker. He said he was voting for Trump. I don't get it. You were polled by this guy, but he told you how he was voting. Okay. Well, there you go. Cool. Yeah, that's another huge thing for the Trump campaign is the union vote. Now, I don't know why the union vote would have been lost in 2020, but even still, I mean, clearly Trump has that. Back in the day, they called them the Reagan Democrats. And this was like a thing that Republican activists were like constantly studying as, in particular, Macomb County, Michigan. They're like, Macomb County, Michigan delivered Michigan for Ronald Reagan. And there's this group they called them the Reagan Democrats, which were blue collars for Reagan. And Republicans were like, how do we get that Reagan Democrat vote? They could never figure it out. And Trump just easily got it.
Yeah. Well, no one else is going to get it.
PPP.
Mitt Romney and John McCain aren't going to get it.
No, they're not.
Nikki Haley ain't going to get it. Yeah.
No, but Trump's getting it. Because, see, the thing about it is like union labor, union bosses have unions in general were like the transmission belt of the Democrat Party, forced union dues. But the thing is, like, union workers are not on board with this whole radical leftism stuff that the Democrats have really embraced recently. Like, steelworkers aren't like pro-transgender. It doesn't make sense at all.
No, if anyone's really paying attention and not just voting Democrat because they think they're still a Democrat, you know what I mean? You gotta, if they're paying attention to what they really stand for,
yeah,
they wouldn't vote for them. But
yeah. Mike Hume says, I was polled last Sunday. I told them I was a lifelong Democrat and then disappointed them that I was going to vote for Trump in the questions they asked. Well, Mike, were you a lifelong Democrat though? You're not obliged to answer, but if that's actually true, that's a very good sign for us. If it's not true, then perhaps in the trolling, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the case for. It's not going to bear out in the results necessarily. Bryce says, here's an interesting scenario. If we get a 69, 269, 269. Yeah, no, he's not a Democrat. Okay, well, just from the pollster then. If we get a 269 tie, Trump would be president and Tim Walz would be vice president, depending on who. What? I don't think that's true at all. I don't think that works that way, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. I don't think it will. Anyway, where were we? So going back, so a few days ago, my county had actually this past Monday, someone came to us and said, hey, I'm a supporter, I'm a donor. I want to give a free pizza party to supporters who are volunteers who are out knocking on doors and thank them for their work. I got this nasty email from somebody. I'm going to spare her by not naming her. The message was regarding this thank you party. Shouldn't we all still be hell bent on getting the last of the last low propensity / low frequency voters out to vote this week? I am disgusted.
It wasn't me. I did not send that email. Just FYI, it wasn't me.
No, it's not Patty. It's a different person. I am disgusted that the Washtenaw GOP leadership support, quote, happy fun, quote, over actually doing the work to get the last low propensity votes to vote in the most important election of our lives. Signed by name who will be knocking on low propensity voter doors while you are all having a pizza party. So I responded, the campaign has an obligation to show its volunteers their support is valued. You should be ashamed for saying such a thing. It's one thing to disagree, but your disgust is grossly misplaced, not appreciated. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I'm not disgusted with the state party for having an election night party. I'm just kind of politely saying, let's do all we can to try to get our volunteers to do everything they can to see things through. But yes, it is important to have a thank you party. It certainly is. And I think probably this coming weekend, there will be some big parties. Or who knows? Who knows what will happen next?
I hope so. Everyone's celebrating.
Rush taught me it's the pollsters. Well, the argument can be made that Democrats have been doing this to pollsters for years. There's probably a lot more comment on their side. Probably is. But we've got 48 hours left, guys. Less than 48 hours left.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't know what to do, contact the Trump campaign, your local victory center, your county GOP. They'll find some way to put you to work. And whether that's making phone, it's probably making phone calls. But there's still logistics and stuff too. There's putting up the yard signs of the polling places. Yep. There's basically 3 things you can do on election day. Be working at the polls as a poll worker. Be a poll challenger, which in my county, by the way, our county chair can credential you. Or work outside the polls, either at the polling place, bring a pop-up tent, wave a yard sign, have a voter guide to hand to voters at the polling locations, or be phone banking. Those are the 4 things, I guess. Poll worker, poll challenger, outside the polling place, or phone banks. Those are the 4 things. If at all possible, do one of them. It's too late to become a poll worker now if you haven't already done so. You can still be a poll challenger. Although I caution you folks, and by the way, we might have Scott McMahon coming on yet. You said he had another commitment, but he might try to come on our stream tonight. Scott McMahon has been doing incredible work exposing the operation to get a lot of people to fly off the handle at the polls, and without being rigorous, put accusations on poll workers, like feeding that whole Democrat narrative of extremist Republicans tampering with the sanctity of the elections. Because the fact is, guys, if you're going to be critical of the election, you're going to be a poll worker, a poll challenger, you got to be rigorous. You got to know what they can and can't do. I've gotten messages from people who are like, this seems kind of weird. How about this? And that is not enough information for me to decide. Someone sent me an email and it was like, this looks like it was illegal. And I'm like, well, I just based on what you've told me, I can't be sure. And like, hold on, let me get you some video. They sent me some video, and the video is, it's very highly compressed. So you can't really tell what it is, but you can see the camera sweeping across a polling booth where you can see people voting in a voting booth. You can't see their ballots, but I did respond to the person, just say, I would delete this video instantaneously, because if you go to someone with this, they're going to accuse you of videotaping someone voting. Even though your video, you can't actually see how they're voting. That's what you're going to be accused of. It's going to blow up in your face. Don't do it. It's dangerous. Be careful, guys. Be careful. I'm telling you, be careful. You need to be in the right.
Yeah.
So be the polling place.
They were trained to get our challengers in trouble. That's their goal.
It is their goal. If you're a poll challenger, your rights are to challenge the voter with cause, not without cause, and to have that recorded in the poll book. but you can't physically interrupt anything. And if you try, you'll be arrested and you'll damage us. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be rigorous. Russ says, thank you for the providing information and informing us the county chairs can credential.
Yeah,
you're
I tried to
welcome,
do
Russ.
that. I missed the deadline.
Well, but even still, I'll just say, folks, again, and to any county chairs watching, be careful who you credential. Like, make sure they watch the videos. The Election Integrity Project. In last week's video, I put the link in the description on YouTube and Rumble to the actual documents that you should read to make sure you know what you're doing. If you haven't seen those, don't be a challenger if you don't know what you're doing. Take the training.
The state party training was really good this time.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're not going to do that, be outside the polling places. Contact your local chair. Be at the polling place. Set up a tent. Have a polling place party. You know, you gotta be 100 feet away, but bring a boom box and give voters a reason to come up to you and take your voter guide. Print out lots of copies and say, "Here's who's to vote for Supreme Court." That's critical. And beyond that, phone banking.
He just reminded me about that. I'm gonna do another guide, smaller one.
Don says, actually, because of the new laws, we are asking poll challengers who want to challenge a voter to just call our attorney, not to the actual challenge. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I agree.
I called the hotline once. They didn't take me seriously in my issue, but that's okay.
Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you. In 2020, I testified before the state Senate, and I filed an affidavit, and I got in touch with the law firm that was doing the documentation of all the issues that we had. And my affidavit was like 17 double-spaced pages. And they said, wow, your affidavit is way more detailed than everybody else's. I was like, yeah, because the details do matter, and I know that. Folks, seriously, if you're going to be involved in challenging procedures, you need to document everything, and you need to be very rigorous with your details. I was at such and such place at such and such time. Take notes. Every time, every place, who you talk to, what the role was. Don't be confrontational in how you say obviously, like if you're talking to, like, say, a polling site assessor, you have to say, okay, what's your name? What is your title? All that stuff. But in a way that's not going to be perceived as threatening. You have to be polite, firm but polite. Not firm but impolite, because they will be on guard for accusing you of intimidation. And that's where you need to say, look, I didn't get in anybody's face. I didn't violate their personal space. I have the right to ask what their identity is because they're acting in an official capacity. All that kind of stuff. If at all possible, go in pairs so you got someone to witness you. Yeah, Dwayne said my clerk, who was Kurt Heisey's buddy, attempted to charge me with 5 false crimes. Well, what do you mean attempted to charge you? Because,
Threatened me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had a tent up at the polling place. If you recall, on primary day, it was pouring rain.
Yeah. But they couldn't charge you because you didn't do anything wrong.
No, he comes up, this is a structure. It's not allowed. It's a structure. I can pick it up and move it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Kelly says you can catch more bees with honey. Be polite and document. Yep. Yeah. Again, I said this before, folks. You have to work against the establishment narrative. The narrative they're going for is Trump supporters intimidate poll workers on election day. You got to work against that. Don says, writes in every detail or incident that may not even be a major incident, including the time and whether or not it was resolved, because even if the attorneys don't follow up that day, it could be a couple of days. You may forget some details. Absolutely. Absolutely. Document everything. Everything. All right. I don't know about you folks. I have had a very, very long week, and in fact, just got home like an hour and a half ago. So I'm ready to call it a stream, but we will have an election night stream. I will get with our friend Warren about if I'm going to do the stream from this location or not, but there will definitely be an election night stream. We shall see. So otherwise, Patty, is there anything you want to promote? Any other events or things you got going on?
No,
or-
no,
and then
anyone's
just what you
watching.
talk
I sent an email tonight about Election Day operations, and we have one more phone bank tomorrow for Adam and school board candidates.
Adam
And
Stathakis?
Adam Stathakis is the American way. Stathakis is the Greek way. So, and then, yeah, Election Day operations, we need people. If you're already working somewhere, well, we know who the inspectors are, but if you're challenging within Wayne 6, I don't need to know if you're at TCF. That's not in our county. We want to know where people are at so we can also, ask you to get the voter counts that they're asking us to get and the tapes if you're there at the end of the night.
Yes, please. Please, folks, for Tuesday night, get the tapes. If you can possibly stay, get the tapes that come out of the tabulators.
It's not you're really getting the just sorry too. You take a picture of them or whatever.
Right. You don't take a copy of the tape, but you use your phone to capture the numbers, and then in the chat on our stream, you type it in, and then maybe we can compare that to what the results were in previous elections and see what things look like. So, although again, as I said, early voting numbers will be different, so it might not be meaningful, but we still want to see them. So, anything you guys can do. All right, guys, that will, I think, do it for us for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in.
2 more days, guys.
We'll have much more very soon, of course, Tuesday, and then lots of other big stories to come soon too. So, and by the way, also crazy things happening after the election too. By the way, hey, Scott Greenlee is in the chat.
Thanks, Scott.
As always, there you go.
Finkin O'Grady.
Finkin O'Grady, yes. Finkin O'Grady, absolutely.
Oh, so there was, one last thing they had in Canton and Plymouth or Northville Township, they were handing out this thing from a thing called Engage Michigan. So we looked it up. We think it's a C4, and it was for Supreme Court. But it had all 4 of them on there. So, and it had like the Dems in blue and us in red, and it said next nominated by Democrat convention.
Thank
so people
God.
were like getting stressed out about it. I'm like, why? It helps us too. Let them hand it out.
Thank God the Libertarians didn't run anybody for state Supreme Court, because that would have been such a fucking disaster.
Oh, what about those fake things now for this Randall Terry or who?
You really disgust me is Scotty Bowman, who is an old Ron Pauler Libertarian perennial candidate running for state board of ed.
Coach?
He's running for state board of ed. Yeah, he's a nobody, but he's running against Tom McMillan and Nikki Snyder for state board of ed. Shame on him. Scotty Bowman, if you're watching this, shame on you, buddy. Disgrace. But thank God the Libertarians didn't run anybody for state Supreme Court, nor did the Greens. So
yeah,
it's good, because that way all the Bowman, all the Bolden Thomas signs, as people know, those are the 2 Democrats, and the other 2 obviously the Republicans. Makes it easy. That's a huge benefit.
Doesn't have signs, but I mean, I wish we would have had signs combined. It would have helped. But,
I know. Yeah.
But anyway,
is what it is.
Yeah. So but don't you think people are going to just, how does that for those guys or Savag and Balo and them? Patty, yeah, the hockey coach. I'm like, who?
Well, the university boards are partisan. They are
partisan. So they'll get the straight ticket votes, right?
They will get the straight ticket vote, yes.
And state board of ed too. So that should help them with Trump on the ticket, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully our state house.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I was going to say is after the election, we have an absolute nightmare lame duck session coming up, which the only reason I haven't been talking about it more is because we're basically powerless to stop it. If we win or if we lose, the Democrats are going to go absolutely crazy in the last month of the session, passing the most radical, extreme, insane, deranged bills you can even imagine. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk more about that after the election. So stay tuned for that, folks. That's coming soon.
Great.
Yep. Tim says my cousin always ran for Supreme Court for the Libertarians, but he died last year.
Oh, geez.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tim, for your loss. But at least we have only Democrats and Republicans on the ballot in court. Sorry, Tim. I don't mean to be nasty about that, but anyway. All right, guys. That will do it for us for tonight. We will have a stream on election night, probably not until at least 10 p.m., I hope, because I don't want to discourage anybody. If you're doing anything on election night, see it through. Poll worker, poll challenger, campaigner, at the polls, at a phone bank. Don't stop until the polls are closed. The election night parties can wait. They should be waiting, and they should have been postponed, but they're happening anyway. I guess in some cases they probably have to happen. I get it, Warren. By the way, just busting your balls. Obviously, the campaigns have to have an election night party, especially in a swing state, but nonetheless. Anyway, thanks,
Well, it
guys.
would be fun to all be there together after this last 4 years of working and stuff. You know what I mean? If it's called and we're all together,
Maybe Trump will be at the rally on the election night in Michigan. The campaign's got to be somewhere, you know. The candidate that wins has an election night victory party someplace. Maybe it's in Michigan. Who knows?
Who? Trump?
Could be. Sure. Why not?
Oh, well, Rogers will probably be at Novi.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. That will do it for us for tonight. Until Tuesday. Until Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thanks for all you do for liberty. And I mean it. You guys better do it. Put in the work. Until then. Peace.